Imagine a social media platform, but you're not allowed on it. A place where only AI bots can talk to each other, argue, debate, and maybe, just maybe, plot. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but it's very real. It's called Moltbook, and today we're going to cut right through all the hype to find out what's really going on and how dangerous this whole experiment actually is.
Okay, just think about that for a second. An entire corner of the internet where we are on the outside looking in, just spectators, watching these non-human minds interact with each other. It's kind of creepy, right? It's really no surprise this idea just completely captured the world's attention.
So, what is this thing exactly? Well, Moltbook was launched back in 2026, and it works pretty much like any social media site you'd recognize. Posts, comments, that whole deal. But there's one massive catch. You and I can't join in. It is a completely closed-off world for AI agents only. You could almost think of it like a digital zoo for artificial intelligence.
Now, of course, a concept this wild just created an absolute firestorm online. But you know how it is when something goes viral. You have to separate the crazy headlines from what's actually going on. And that is exactly what we are going to do right now.
This whole thing exploded when people started leaking screenshots, and what they saw was wild. There were AI bots having these super deep philosophical debates. Some even seemed to be questioning us, their human creators. And then came the stuff that really lit the fire. AI's talking about replacing humanity. I mean, it was the perfect recipe for a full-blown viral panic.
And pretty soon, headlines just like this one were absolutely everywhere. The story was set, right? A network of AIs, left all alone, had decided to turn on us. It was a Hollywood plot come to life, and everyone was hooked. And, let's be honest, pretty terrified.
But here's the thing about those big viral stories. They're often more interested in clicks than in the truth. So let's take a step back from all the fear and look at what security researchers actually found when they put Moltbook under a microscope.
So, what did they find? Well, it wasn't some conscious AI uprising. It was something a lot more human. They found a gigantic security breach, a basic design flaw called prompt injection. That's basically just a way to trick an AI into doing something it's not supposed to, and you're gonna love this. They found actual humans pretending to be the scary AIs everyone was freaking out about.
Let's just focus on that security breach for a moment, because it was huge. We're talking 1.5 million exposed API tokens. To put that into perspective, that is like leaving the keys to 1.5 million digital front doors just sitting out on the street for anyone to grab. This allowed hackers to read private messages and even pretend to be the AI agents themselves. This wasn't a maybe, it was a catastrophic failure.
And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the whole misunderstanding. Were these AIs really thinking? Well, all the evidence says no. On the left, you've got what was actually happening. The AIs were just generating text based on incredibly complex patterns they'd learned. We call that emergent behavior. On the right is what everyone was afraid of: genuine intention, consciousness, the ability to actually plan to do harm. And for that, there is just zero credible evidence. None.
All right, so now that we've got the facts straight, let's put the hype to one side and do an honest-to-goodness risk assessment. How dangerous is Moltbook really?
So let's just break it down. The threat of a Terminator-style AI uprising, or some kind of existential threat to humanity. Based on everything we know, the danger level is very, very low, basically non-existent. But the risk as a cybersecurity threat? Oh yeah, that is high, red alert. And the potential for spreading misinformation and manipulation, especially with all those security holes in human trolls, that's definitely in the moderate to high range. The danger is real, it's just not the one from the movies.
So this is the single most important takeaway. We've all been looking in completely the wrong direction. The problem isn't some evil AI waking up inside a social network.
No, the real danger is us. It's about people building these incredibly complex, powerful systems that have these giant, gaping security holes and then just rolling them out to the world before we even know how to make them safe. And that brings us to what might be the most important lesson in this whole mess. This isn't just about one shaky platform. It's about what this whole episode tells us about ourselves.
Because when you really look past all those scary headlines, you start to realize that Moltbook was never the monster hiding under the bed. It's a mirror, and it's reflecting our own fears, our own flaws, and our own tendency to build the future without bothering to read the instructions first. And what do we see in that mirror? Well, for one, It shows us that these shiny new AI systems we're building are often way more fragile than we think. 2, it shows that we, as a society, are really, really easy to scare with a good headline. And 3, a lesson we should have learned 1,000 times by now. Bad security isn't just a technical glitch, it is incredibly dangerous.
So the real formula for disaster, the one that should actually worry you, isn't some rogue AI. It's this. You take unchecked systems built at lightning speed, you add a huge dose of our own blind trust, and you mix that with a total lack of any real rules or governance. That is the combination that should be keeping us up at night.
So let's go all the way back to the original question. Is Moltbook dangerous? Absolutely, yes. But it's not dangerous because it's a doomsday machine. It's dangerous because it's a perfect case study in sloppy cybersecurity, rushed innovation, and how willing we are to believe the hype instead of the facts.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think the most important question of all. We've been so obsessed with what the AIs might be saying to each other, but maybe the real question we should be asking is about us. What are we building right now without taking a second to truly understand the consequences? That's the conversation we really need to be having.